Так, микрофон сразу включаем. Ой, болезнь. На фоне может орать кот. Не знаю, что он хочет. Шуметь еще что-то там. Короче, была все-таки одна комбинация, которую я, видимо, не прощелкала в прошлый раз на рандомочах. Это... И ты все равно не сработаешь, правильно? В общем, я не понимаю, в чем проблема. Потому что... Секундочку. Я уже с подсказками, я уже с хуясками, я уже вообще просто не понимаю. Твою мать, блядь, наконец эта хуйня сработала, охуеть! Ебаться в рот, блядь, пиздец! Просто ебануться. Какая-то ебала еще откроется, да?
Whoa.
Воу! Секунду. Так.
Rah! For Pete's
No.
sake, Emily! You scared the pants off me. Don't ever do that again.
Well, keep your nose out of my
Shut up.
business, then.
I don't know what you're talking about.
First my room, now here. Stop following me, you're becoming a nuisance.
Wait a minute. Are you... You're not implying that I'm here to court you, are you?
Oh, Louis, I'm just stating the obvious. You wouldn't be the first, rest assured.
Yeah, this is embarrassing. The worst thing is it seems to be working.
Stop fooling around and tell me what you're doing here.
I was feeling a bit peckish. I went in search of the kitchen and I ended up here.
Your sense of direction is mind-boggling, isn't it? Well, no matter. I'll tolerate your presence this one time. Now, since you're here, make yourself useful. Look around on your side. I'll do the same on mine. And if you find anything of interest, let me know.
Oh, yeah. In your dreams. At your service, madam.
Обыщите комнату.
I found an amazing ring. There's an inscription engraved on it. You're married. Why don't you wear a wedding ring?
You mean wear something just to prove your love? Not my style.
Да, какая? А я не могу ничего сделать. Прокачивались, и ничего но не могу.
A golden fleece.
It's freezing. Hurry up.
Do you think that can really be Jason's golden fleece?
No, you are aware that Jason and the Argonauts is a myth, aren't you?
But Mortimer's been protecting this hide. It must be of great value, don't you think?
Certainly of historical value. This kind of hide is still used by gold diggers in Eastern Europe. Now you see how easy it is to obtain a legend.
Why do you have to act so nonchalant every time I show you something?
Louis, anyone can kill a sheep, rip off its hide, and say it's the Golden Fleece.
We're at Lord Mortimer's, not at some farmyard fair. You're just too skeptical.
And you have a tendency to believe anything. Talk about an unlikely pair.
Yet, you know opposites attract, don't you?
Замерзла она, блядь. Не падай, блядь, не падай.
An unofficial gospel? You'd be more likely to find this kind of book at the Vatican.
Nothing special. The library at Buckingham has 3.
I bet you've read them cover to cover.
Naturally.
Really? I'm curious. Tell me, what part stood out the most to you?
The passage where Mary says to Joseph, "Hey, you, shut up."
In other words, you haven't even opened one.
Книгу никакую нельзя? Нельзя.
Hey, Mortimer is the author of this work. It talks about his passion for art.
Унизили.
Guess what I found?
The Holy Grail.
Older than that.
A piece of Noah's Ark.
Not that old.
This could go on for hours. Just tell me.
Caesar's laurel wreath.
Ни много ни мало.
I can just see Mortimer dressed in a toga, wearing a laurel wreath, strutting around his manor all day long.
You have a curious idea of Mortimer.
Why? He's eccentric, like all the English are, isn't he?
Well, if Peru stands for French grace, then if I were you, I wouldn't be making that sort of remark.
Она типа тоже же. Англичанка.
Oh, looks like a pamphlet on different political regimes, written by Mortimer himself.
Ой, блядь, этот Мортимер прям все загадочный весь такой. Так.
Here's something
Здесь антри сейчас
interesting.
выпадут на
A
стол прям.
manor in Maine, hundreds of
Чего?
acres of land in Catalonia, properties in Shanghai. Incredible. Some of these deeds are over 600 years old, and all signed by the hand of Mortimer.
I wonder if that's what inspired my mother's attention. How come all these documents have Mortimer's signature on them?
Do you think all these properties really belong to him?
Па-па-па-па. Что Мортимер бессмертный, предположить, что есть несколько Мортимеров. Кстати, ну, типа да.
Several people have played the part of Mortimer, a part that has been passed down from generation to
ты с этой
generation.
стороны зашел.
Different men, but with one sole identity.
An intriguing hypothesis, and yet less twisted than some of my previous cases.
At last, you finally agree with me about something.
These documents are intriguing, but do you really think that's what attracted your mother's attention here?
And how do you know my mother was interested in this room?
I didn't know, I just supposed she was. And you just confirmed it. So, do you think she found what she came for?
I don't know. She was obsessed with Mortimer, and I must confess, these property deeds are troubling.
If that's the case, why would she have left them?
Once again, I don't know. We'll have to ask her when we find her. And what's your take?
Как ему удалось все это заполучить?
How did Lord Mortimer get all this? It's just crazy.
Secret connections, money, or a well-kept family treasure passed on from generation to generation. Who knows?
Я фамильный, как
That
фекальный
would mean
прочитал.
some of Mortimer's ancestors lived before Jesus was born. I wonder why my mother didn't make it clear what she was interested in here.
She didn't have time to write it down, or maybe she wasn't sure of what she was looking for.
Or she wanted to protect her discoveries. It's disturbing.
You'll just have to search the rest of the room. Maybe you'll find something.
Я бы не доверяла этой мадам.
What is that you found?
A cameo pendant. What's going on?
Nothing.
For crying out loud, Emily, you lunged for that jewel like your life depended on it. Tell me what this is about.
No.
Да.
I can't trust a man who sneaks into my room in the middle of the night.
Are you really gonna use that against me every time we meet?
It's difficult to pretend nothing happened. We just met, Louis. I like you, but I can't just suddenly open myself up like a book to you.
Listen, Emily. It seems pretty obvious to me that you haven't come here for the sole purpose of sampling Mortimer's cellar. Stop all the clever evasions and just trust me.
And why the hell should I
Так.
place my trust in you, Louis?
Сначала сами выньте скелет из шкафа. Вы уже сделали это однажды, собираюсь на ключи.
Nothing. I have done absolutely nothing for you. No to this, no to that. You ask for proof of trust, but when you get it, you turn a deaf ear. You are
Заплачь.
defiant, evasive, and paranoid. Go question your own motives. I've done all I can.
All right, fine. There's no point getting on your high horse, you know.
О,
So I'm wary, I grant you that. I'll admit you are fairly
здесь от
reliable.
тебя шумно.
That's it? I was expecting more.
Well, I'm prepared to trust you when it comes to choosing a French cheese. But I've nothing to gain by confiding in you any further than that.
Nothing to gain? Damn it, Emily. I'm only trying to help you. Stop needing to gain something all the time.
Because you think I need help?
Just like everyone. You have your strengths and your weaknesses. And there's no use pretending otherwise.
Ha! And I bet you found out where I'm weak, haven't you?
Вы, конечно же, распознали мою уязвимость. Я, блядь, не помню. По-моему, психология.
You think your scathing wit protects you, but in fact, it makes you blind. No sooner have people introduced themselves and you already see them in a bad light. You play the part of a strong woman, and yes, you are a strong woman, of course. But what I see is a sensitive young lady who lacks self-confidence. Stop adopting a defensive posture, and you'll see just how quickly new doors will open.
There is some truth to what you say. I might have some weaknesses, but I don't need your help to overcome
Точнее,
them.
правильно помню.
And I'm simply not contemplating collaborating with anyone at this time. Do you understand?
Understand. Вы предпочитаете работать одна, вам нравится быть главной в расследовании, вы кому-то подчиняетесь, у вас уже есть сообщник, вы боитесь даже короткого сотрудничества.
I don't see us as partners for life. You won't owe me anything, you know. It doesn't commit you to anything after all.
All right, you've gone to a lot of trouble. You deserve an answer. I already have a work partner.
Ну,
I know
это, кстати, я первая, о чем
I
думала.
don't doubt that your abilities will be of
Уже
use
кто-то
to
есть.
me,
Чёрт,
but I
такие все
already
сяды.
have all that, thanks to my teammate.
Is there any chance you might tell me who he is?
No, I've already said too much. Consider yourself lucky I've even given you this much. It's extremely rare, believe me.
Come on, don't stop now that you've come this far. You know that eventually I'll end up making you talk.
Well, since no one can resist you, let's see if you can guess who my partner is.
You're a gambler. So, your partner is...
Вот кажется, что мужчина, потому что ее внешний вид, да? Но может быть и женщина, а именно вот на ту мадам, которую экзорцизнули. Может быть, вот она быть. Но я поставлю все-таки на мужика. Да, блядь, вы что, конь, что ли? Ваш отец, ваш старый муж, кто-то из ордена.
Chances are, you're working with a member of the Order.
The only members of the Order other than ourselves are your mother and Mr. Washington. The former has sadly gone missing. As for the latter, I knew nothing of his arrival. Incidentally, you must have noticed how inefficiently our Order communicates internationally.
Это мужчина все-таки будет. Пусть
Your
отец.
father. The force of youth combined with the wisdom of ancestors.
I never knew my father.
Да,
And it'll be
блядь.
better for him if I never do find him.
Sorry.
I thought you'd figured out I was an orphan.
No.
Блядь, да,
Please forgive me.
точно.
I didn't know.
Блядь, она же за этим, за столом-то говорила, что...
Your husband, of course.
My husband, he can't even walk without a cane.
Неужели баба все? Ты гонишь,
Poor
блядь?
man. Let him live out the rest of his days in peace.
How nice for him.
Хорошо, можно это использовать несколько раз.
It's as obvious as it is surprising. You're my mother's hard-hitting partner.
Oh, God, do you really believe the nonsense that comes out of your mouth?
Well, a second ago I did. A little.
Sorry,
я
your
знаю.
mother is not my partner.
Нахал.
Right, time is short.
Да ты
You
куда
have
ты,
convinced
алло?
me. I prefer
Блядь.
to remain discreet. Don't take it the wrong way. All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister. And if I reacted so strongly at the sight of the cameo pendant, it's because I thought it belonged to her. But it doesn't.
I understand. I won't insist.
It's time to leave.
Вот так вот. Значит, она с сеструхой зажигает. Понятно. Все ясно.
So, what do you think of our first adventure?
I must admit it has been fun by your side.
Same here.
Она вся в
Oh,
татухах?
she's been drinking too much.
Она
again.
вообще с 1700
I
года,
need to
глянь.
talk to you right now.
Good evening, Elizabeth. Actually, this is not a good
Да
time.
ты вообще из
Please, don't leave me
21 века.
alone.
I'll be waiting for you in your room, but don't be late.
was sure there was a certain je ne sais quoi between us.
Louis, we need to talk now. Otherwise it'll be too late.
Looks like Elizabeth really needs me, but if I start talking to her, for sure Emily won't wait for me. What should I do?
А кто из них кто, блядь? Уйти к Эмили, последовать за Элизабет.
Excuse me, Elizabeth, but
Some
very urgent business has cropped up. We can speak tomorrow.
No, Louis, don't leave me alone. They've come back.
Good night, madam.
Ты ебанутая. В татушках вся. Вообще вся. В 1700 году запретный плод.
Well, well, Louis, you took your sweet time. What did our poor Elizabeth want?
The real question would be this. What exactly are you doing, Emily, in my room?
Да.
I've enjoyed our discussions very much, and I had hoped that we could continue them.
А ты в
Emily,
кассете?
have I misunderstood something here?
Ты чё,
What
обалдел?
are you doing in my room?
And for a while now, the question has been nagging at me.
And that explains why I now find you here, in my bed. Go ahead. Ask me the question that's been burning at your lips.
I know your mother was here to meet someone, but I can't figure out who.
Oh, so that's what's been hiding behind all this.
We are both members of the Order, Louis. Let's try to be honest with each other. I have followed with great interest your affair in Paris, in connection with Mr. von Bullshit. You managed to steal something from him, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly. And what about you, my friend? What were you and your dear sister looking for here?
Well, our mission was to find out more about that particular book.
And why that one?
Let's just say that the Queen is desperately seeking a way of relieving the King from his difficulties with dementia.
Well, how about that?
This is quite fascinating. But just what did Sarah expect to accomplish here?
Блин, губы высохли, постоянно их грызу. А ну зачем же тогда Сара приехала сюда? Она сказала, ну, у меня как бы
My
без
mother
разницы.
came here to find out who Von Burchard planned on selling the book to.
And did she find out?
I have no idea, but I think she thought
Yeah.
it would be someone invited to Mortimer's next party.
You mean
Найти такую
one of
себя, да,
us
прийти?
here now?
That's what I think. It wouldn't be you, by any chance.
Unfortunately, no. I was planning to steal it myself. Thank you for all this information, Louis. Right, enough chatting. Come and join me instead.
Блин! Ее еще так показывают. Если я буду долго думать, то что интересно, он сам что-то решит? Откажется, наверное, да? Короче, если мы согласимся с ней переспать, то она начнет веревки из нас видеть. Поэтому пошла нахуй!
Emily, don't take this the wrong way, but I really don't think this would be a good idea right now.
Блин, она сейчас теперь злая станет!
You don't think it would do you some good to relax and clear your mind a bit?
That's a good point. But seriously, I'd rather we didn't.
I understand, Louis. I won't insist any further.
Thanks.
Нет
Emily.
ничего хуже от бабы, которые отказали. Нам пизда. Она теперь все наши секреты еще расскажет. Я же забыла, что баба этот пиздец. Блин. Да блин, нет, нифига. Не очевиден. И так бы веревки вила. На самом-то деле. Так. Моцарт. Моцарты.
Lord Mortimer,
Опа.
Monsieur de Richet, at last we meet.
И тут заканчивается эпизод, да? Успех. Я разгадал загадку Медузы, я нашел комнату, где лорд Мортимер прячет свои сокровища, я узнал, что Эмили что-то скрывает, и предпочел пойти за Эмили. Я не убедил Эмили раскрыть секрет. Ага. Что качнуть-то? Языкознание, политика. этикет. Да ладно, все. Наука, хитрость. Уж хитрость еще карточная. Блин, что такое чешется все? Что ты пишешь все? Тоже верно, но ведь можно было бы слать нахрен ее и так, и так. Не факт. Ну тут типа такие все воспитанные до хера. Эрудиция. Пользуйтесь своими познаниями в области искусства, географии, истории. Оккультизм. Вообще что-то нету. Манипулирования. У нас не прокачан до сих пор она. Ловкость. Логика. И 1 очко. Куда его направим? Давай в допрос. Огонь, вода и медные трубы брезентские. Блять, первый, ну... То есть... Блять, первый, ну... То есть мне вот вчера... Блять, трофей. Этот... Мне вчера нужно было просто решить эту горгону. И тогда бы, блять, мы закончили уже этот первый эпизод. Ну ладно. Так, это, так понимаю, вот этот первый, да? Вот это второй. Где моя матушка? Погнали, чё?
How many times must I tell you? You must never put your life on the line for me.
Mother has always had a fascination for Lord Mortimer, but has never wanted to tell me why.
We are doing our utmost to find your mother as quickly as possible. Without your mother, hundreds of men of the cloth would have gone to the guillotine.
All I can tell you is I'm looking for my sister.
Do you believe your mother capable of torturing a child?
An agreement for cannons. Lord Mortimer assured me that you are to take over the project on behalf of your mother.
Johann Christoph von Wollner, Minister of Religious Affairs, and Jacques
Мортимером похож.
French
Это
Revolutionary
NPC из
Tribunal
Dishonored.
judge. You will find that Lord Mortimer is not what one would call conventional, Monsieur de Richet.
I do apologize for being late. I was obliged to clear up some urgent business.
Позвал гостей, сам ливнул. Давай, его начнем. Итак, Мортимер приехал.
At last we meet, Monsieur de Richet. Do you mind if I call you Louis?
Please do.
Thank you. I wish to apologize wholeheartedly, Louis. I made you cross the seas, and I wasn't even here to welcome you. When I asked you to join us here, it was, of course, in the hope that you would help us find your mother. However, there may be some new developments, but I don't know if they are linked to your mother. We have found Elizabeth Adams' body in her room. I'm afraid she was brutally murdered, stabbed several times.
Твою мать.
I can't believe it. We bumped into
Блядь,
her
да
last night on our way
почему я
to bed.
сперва нажимаю, блядь, выбираю? Скажешь, что подозреваемый, ты ее там, блядь, перенасиловал всю и вообще ты виноват, сейчас скажешь.
You apparently bumped into Miss Adams, who wanted to speak to you. We are told you turned her away, and she went away on her own.
That's correct.
Do you know what she wanted to see you about, by any chance?
Я реально не знаю.
She seemed upset about something. I thought she was under the influence of alcohol, but we didn't really speak.
Pity. The poor child was probably trying to find help.
I thought it could wait until tomorrow.
Apparently not. Louis, I shan't hide the fact that this tragedy puts me in a very delicate situation.
Да, у тебя труп,
I
блядь,
cannot risk
в твоем
upsetting the
особняке.
smooth operation of our next conference. But the case cannot remain unaddressed.
I understand. What do you intend to do?
I must reassure my guests, and justice will be done. And for that to happen, I must ask
Так он
for
ее
your
убил
help.
сам.
Why is that?
You met Elizabeth. You spoke together, I believe. She trusted you. Listen, Louis. Find out who could have committed this murder. I
Красиво
refuse
одет,
to believe
кстати.
that one of my guests is the murderer. I want to know
Богато.
who is responsible for this. And I trust you. You have my backing. You must stop at nothing. Can I count on you?
Of course. How would you like me to proceed?
Maybe you could start by
Блядь,
getting
ну я
to
ж
the scene of the
детектив.
crime. Elizabeth was attacked in her room.
Can you tell me anything else about what happened?
Now, Louis, I wouldn't want to influence you. Get over there and form your own opinion.
Нормально.
Do you have any suspects in mind, my lord?
I spent most of the night talking with Sir Gregory and His Eminence Piaggi. So, I think you can remove them from the list of suspects.
А, ну значит, они виноваты.
Monsieur Bonaparte and President Washington left the party after midnight, I believe. They were tired and went up to bed.
Right. I'll get over there immediately.
Thank you, Louis. Now, once you've finished, come back and let me know your findings. I'll be waiting. And Louis, you've got permission to search through the guests' rooms. They've all been notified and they agree.
Ой, ну это ж Мортимер, ё-моё, сам ее и пришиб. Ты гонишь?
Your Eminence, I imagine that you've heard the news about Miss Adams.
What a tragedy, my son. How could such a thing have happened?
That's exactly what I'm trying to find out. Did you notice anything out of the ordinary last night?
I saw the young French soldier, Bonaparte,
Что, заела, ехать?
hanging around near Miss Adams' room. But I would not want to get an innocent man into trouble, Louis. It's probably nothing.
Not to worry, Your Eminence. If he is innocent, then he has nothing to fear. Do you know why Monsieur Bonaparte was hanging around her room like that?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that the dashing young soldier had become infatuated with a fragile young woman who looked a bit lost. But I don't think he got a very warm welcome.
Bonaparte and Adams? But they didn't even know each other, did they?
I couldn't say, Louis. One last thing. You must know that Peru hit young Adams on the evening of our arrival. He apparently violently attacked her in the small salon.
Do you know anything else about the attack?
Oh, unfortunately not. I arrived too late to intervene. Young Miss Adams had already been submitted to the foul lout's wrath. Otherwise, you can believe me, it would not have happened.
Вот, значит, как. Блин, теперь мне интересно, что было бы, если мы ей помогли. Ключи валяются.
Dante's Purgatory. Why does your mind presume to flight when you're still like the imperfect grub, the worm before it's attained its final form? Charming.
А что, блядь, коллекционные монеты что не дают?
Golden elixir. I'll keep it for later.
Which four-letter word could open this?
Чё это сейчас было? ПМНТ. Абаба. Бля. Приехали, походу, опять. Что это за слот вообще может быть? Так, давай думать. Первая буква. П, Д, Ж, З. Вторая. Их менять нельзя. Ладно. Опять это обязательно разгадывать.
The nightmare painted by Fuseli in 1781.
Левиафан. Ну какой?
Honey, I couldn't have hoped for better. I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
I'm listening, Louis.
I'll be in touch as soon as I have any more information.
Я так и знала, что вот эта хрень. То есть к нему подходим, когда уже узнаем что-то. Так, ну пошли. Музыка такая.
C'est Jacques Perru.
Пойдем, пойдем. Продоворот нам этот может навалякать.
What do you want from me, Riche?
Greetings. It's fallen to me
Cut
that...
the crap! Get to the point. We both know why you're here.
And have you got anything to tell me?
What does it matter? It's too late anyway. Do what you have to do and get out.
It's never too late, sir. If you have something to say, now is the time.
You don't understand. Everything's already written. It's over.
Why is he behaving like the perfect culprit? What is it that's already written? I'm not sure I follow you.
No, you don't.
A pattern with 4 circles.
Meh.
The Massacre of the Innocents by Rubens. A bit gloomy. Guess my room is not that bad.
Блин, ну что нужно для того, чтобы взламывать-то всю эту ебалу? Не знаю, встретимся ли мы снова. Я попал в ловушку собственных решений. Тебя нужно защитить. Без тебя у меня нет будущего, твою жизнь еще можно спасти. Уже не важно, сердишься ли ты на меня. Просто знаю, что я заключил сделку с дьяволом, которого надеялся обыграть. Я думал, что знаю все про этих чудовищ, но мой подвиг во имя Франции ничто по сравнению с тем, на что способны они. Выхода нет, их челюсти скоро сомкнутся. Люблю тебя, всегда буду любить. Дама сердца есть?
Records of the police. Notes intended for the police lieutenant of Paris. It's a list of people under surveillance in Paris. Man, there's some well-known names on it. This is valuable information. This shouldn't be lying around.
Я библиофил. Фига ванна. Всегда, кстати, нравилось, что ванны у них прям посреди комнаты стоят.
Dear friend, please come and join us. We must meet about the ongoing operations in Paris. A boat will be waiting for you in Calais and will take you to Dover in England. From there, a carriage will take you to the port of Tintagel, where a frigate will be waiting for you and other guests, so you can meet up with me on my island as quickly as possible. I await your arrival. Lord William Mortimer.
Мортимер. Блин, почему ты не стоишь-то ровно? Чё ж ты падаешь-то? Прям чуть что сразу. Ну, особо нет тут ничего.
All right. Have you finished?
Not quite. I'd like you to answer a few questions. I'd like to talk about the letter you're writing. What woman is it addressed to?
Да.
Who says it's a woman? I'm not saying any more. There's no point you insisting.
Я еще хотел пошутить, но думала слишком уж как-то... Как-то.
Nice decor for a revolutionary tribunal judge's room.
Он гей? Прикольно. Подъехал чисто к руму.
Hannibal crossing the Alps. Another military success. Why do I get nothing but visions of horror in my room? And he gets victory after victory? The Battle of Alexander at Issus, or how Alexander the Great triumphed over King Darius. Yet another one with delusions of grandeur.
It's a beautiful weapon. A lovely damask blade. My dearest son, I'm writing to implore you to act quickly. The situation is rapidly worsening here. Paoli continues to steer our motherland, Corsica, toward open warfare between France
По-моему, читали это.
His men are everywhere. We are obliged to go into hiding and are unable to remain in the same place for more than 2 days. I wouldn't be surprised if they targeted us soon. Make haste, my son. You hold our destiny in your hands. Your loving mother, Maria Letizia Bonaparte.
Читали, по-моему, это же.
A bicorn decorated with a cockade. It must belong to a French soldier.
Ну что?
Monsieur de Richet, please be quick. We are both very busy.
Что заметить, что он, кстати, не Карлан. Так, спросить о прошлой ночи, уточнить, что он делал в комнате Элизабет. Закончить так.
Did you hear about young Elizabeth?
Indeed, it is deeply regrettable.
Lord Mortimer asked me to...
I know. You no doubt want to know my alibi. I spent the night downstairs playing cards.
What time did the game end?
I can't say exactly. As for me, I must have stayed until midnight. I was exhausted, couldn't think straight. So I preferred to go up to bed.
On your way up to bed, did you notice anything out of the ordinary?
No, not in the least. The whole manor was sound asleep.
Not really. No.
Can you tell me who was present at the game, please?
Well, there were Lord Mortimer, President Washington, and Sir Gregory.
Thank you.
Ah, and His Eminence Piaget as well. Excuse me, I nearly forgot him. Poor soul.
Did any of you leave during the game?
Not that I know of, monsieur. I didn't exactly spend my time noting the other guests' comings and goings, but I don't think so.
Thank you.
Did you notice anything unusual during the evening?
Nothing at all, except the luck of the devil of Lord Mortimer and Sir Gregory at cards.
Did they win much?
Oh la la, monsieur, they cleaned us out more like. But I plan on getting it all back before we leave.
Someone saw you not far from the victim's room. Can you tell me what you were doing exactly, please?
I can tell you that someone is an idiot. I wanted to warn her to be careful. You see, on the night of my arrival, I saw someone leaving her room in haste, and I wanted to speak to her, to warn her. Unfortunately, the young lady slipped through my fingers each time. Now I know why. She had every reason to be worried. What an idiot I was not to insist. I could have helped her.
I've been studying him for a while now, and I don't think he was lying. Yet, I'm surprised how easy it was for me to read him. It must surely be his military side. I wish they all could be like that. My investigation would be finished already.
Well, have we finished, monsieur?
Exactly. Thanks again for all your answers. Good day.
Чисто. А на балкон могу выйти? Да. Четыре осколка янтаря. Максимальное количество очков действия увеличено на 1.
Amber.
Прикольно.
French actor Talma is Nero in Britannicus, the last emperor of the Caesar dynasty.
My dear Napoleon, as previously agreed, I would like to ask you to join us in January on my island to participate in the High Society meeting organized for the occasion. We shall be able to continue our discussion about our project for a new order for France. I have a proposition to make to you concerning your wish to put a strong leader at the head of France. I trust you to be discreet as to your coming. See you soon. Lord William Mortimer.
Так, это мы письмо читали. А вот мы
There's
сюда не
just one
смотрели.
holster in Bonaparte's gear, and the pistol is missing. On the other hand, his cleaning equipment is in mint condition. That's typical of the soldier in him.
Понимаете вообще, что происходит? Мы Бонапарта так-то
Vercingetorix
допрашиваем и
throws down his
обыскиваем.
arms at the feet of Julius Caesar by Royer, two great army chiefs.
Блядь. О! Идеальная штука. Топич. Блин, на балкон нельзя. Ну ладно. Ну, тогда все выходит дело. Мы тут все осмотрели. Так, погоди, мы шли. Уж не помню, с какой стороны мы шли. Мы оттуда, по-моему, шли. Значит, сюда. Эмили.
Tending children at the orphanage in Harlem. I find it a little hard to understand this painting choice. King George III in coronation robes. Nice touch for the room of an English duchess. Grammar of Port-Royal. Ah, the artistry of the French language and all its splendor. Whoever masters French commands the world. At least une partie of it.
Ну, раньше-то да, но сейчас... Я не представляю, как я могла бы жить в мире, где французский язык терпеть, блядь, не могу. Представлять, представлял. Подожди, это ж, блядь, нужно было бы изучать французский так же, как сейчас все изучают английский. И французский был бы просто везде в фильмах, в песнях. И все. Ой, блядь. Ад.
I received your last letter. Unfortunately, the Crown informed the Golden Order that our mission should under no circumstances hamper Sir Gregory's plans. Decidedly, they have support from the highest level in Buckingham Palace. So here we both are, hands and feet tied, and little room to maneuver. Keep me abreast of events. Our mission is becoming more complicated. Yours, E. T.S. The French chapter of the Order doesn't appear to know anything about the arrival of our friend Sarah. I therefore cannot comment on it. However, my guess is that she has come here for personal reasons.
Так, погоди, давай по порядку. Картин нигде нет, что ли? Стоп.
The Lady's Waldegrave by Reynolds, painted upon the request of the Waldegrave family, in an effort to find him a husband. Displayed like meat. It's disgusting.
Эмили.
A letter from William Pitt the Younger, addressed to Emily. He's the present Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Emily has indeed some powerful backers.
А то, с такими цисендрами.
Thank you for consoling the Queen. The King's situation is worsening, but I wager he'll recover from this present fit. Next time you speak with Her Majesty the Queen, would you please be so kind as to ask her to look into my petition to raise taxes for the King? I will personally see to it that our nation will recover from this impasse. But King George's mental situation is slowing down our decision-taking. Thank you in advance for all your help. William Pitt, Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
Стоп. Обкрадываем Эмили. Герцогиня, его святейшество готов помочь королю Георгу. Мы выделим средства на наем эмигрировавших роялистов для борьбы с Францией. Ваш друг кардинал Джузеппе Пьяджо.
2 coils circle the lock.
А чего
Queen
так
Charlotte.
нашли?
All the royal family of England is there, from what I can tell.
Шарлотта. А это не та, которая потом в Швецию это уехала?
A letter from William Pitt the Elder, addressed to Emily. He was the English Prime Minister. This letter dates from 15 years ago now. Madam, I shall never thank you enough for all your care and attention. I shall be indebted to you until my last breath. If you have any request of me, you only need ask. With regards to my son William, I shall never thank you enough for looking after him. You know the latter's preferences, and you will understand he needs you desperately. For that, and as agreed with Queen Charlotte, our friend Duke Hillsborough will carry out his task and meet with you within 6 months. From then on, you'll be free from want. Yours sincerely, William Pitt, Count of Chatham.
A devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised traits. A devil's thorn, to be used to uncover the best disguised
Щелку ставит, я
traits.
думаю, берет их. Давай поболтаем.
What can I do for you, Louis?
I've come to see you about last night's tragedy. Did you hear anything about what happened to Elizabeth?
Yes, we all did. Rumors spread quickly, you know. How awful. I didn't know her well, but I hope at least the poor thing didn't suffer too much.
Death came quickly. You can be assured of that.
If such a senseless act can happen here, then none of us is truly safe anywhere. Lord Mortimer must be mortified that one of his guests could have committed such an act, don't you think?
He is indeed very upset about it. It's only natural after such a violent murder.
Violent? What do you mean?
Elizabeth was stabbed 9 times.
Oh my God, Louis. How awful. The murderer must have had a serious grudge against her. To set
это не
it on her
23.
like that. It must have been a crime of passion. Do you know what happened exactly?
In fact, Lord Mortimer has asked me to look into this case, Emily.
Really? Are you Lord Mortimer's snoop now?
I'm doing it for Elizabeth, not to please Mortimer.
Good for you. Quite right, too. Have you found out anything?
Нужно, где она была ночью. Где же она была ночью? В отношениях с Элизабет задать другие вопросы.
Did you and Elizabeth get
Он
to
сказал,
know each
едва
other?
знакомы.
I must admit, Louis, I didn't take much interest in her. I feel a bit guilty about it, but I never actually spoke to her. She seemed burdened by her problems, and as she wasn't invited to the conference, I didn't really seek her out.
А почему она вообще тут жила?
I hear you were in discussions with the Holy See.
Oh, either His Eminence can't keep his tongue from wagging, or you've been poking your nose where you shouldn't, sir.
Even so, Emily, you're raising a royalist army. That's no small matter.
And you are straying from the subject. Is there anything else you wanted to ask me?
Что-то зреет.
Since your arrival, did you notice anything strange about Elizabeth?
Everything that happened around that poor child was strange. You saw that for yourself.
I know. You're right. I'm looking for leads to try to reduce the number of suspects.
Well, I would say that in addition to ourselves, you could also cross off President Washington. I went to see him during the night. I had some business with him, and I can confirm that he didn't leave his room all night.
Понятно.
That gives Washington an alibi.
А почему это мы ей должны верить? Прям вообще, прям вот верить.
I'm
Давай
now
узнаем
interviewing
всё-таки.
all the guests to establish the alibis for each person. Just so I can cross you off the list of suspects, can you tell me what you did after leaving my
Да,
room?
кстати.
You know, the easiest way to find out what I was doing last night would have been to invite me to stay, Louis. But I shall answer you. I simply went back to my room and then to bed. On the way, I stopped off for a brief chat with President Washington about some business that concerns both of us.
Very well, then. Thank you, Emily.
Тогда, если ты с ним чисто пару слов перекинулась, как ты, можешь вообще быть уверена, что он до утра-то был дома у себя? В комнате, точнее. Все спросили мы, да? Да, тут только это.
I won't keep you, Emily. Thank you for answering my questions.
See you, Louis.
Так, ну все вроде осмотрели, да? Комната, кстати, небольшая у нее. Закрыто. Это моя комната, по-моему. Ну да. Моя комната. Пиздец, дожили. Я в свою комнату, блядь, не могу выйти. Офигеть. Войти, точнее. А это кача. А, это вот чувака. Может быть, они закрыты, потому что их нет у себя? Типа мы без них не можем входить. О, Вашингтон как раз таки. Ну или Вашингтон. Так.
A map of Massachusetts.
Почему такой голос? Второй раз уже.
looks like a note between Emily and Washington about trade deals. The English and the Americans are preparing a peace treaty. It would appear that Emily is in secret discussion with Washington about reopening trade between the United States and England. If such an arrangement came into being, France would suffer dearly.
А там они все равно собирают уже кого-то. А, блин, это они есть. Лол. Подожди, тут еще одно письмо.
My dear George,
О,
I'd like to invite you to join
тоже
me as
приглашение.
planned at my place. I have a project to show you. It is time that the United States played a more important role on the world stage. I understand your reluctance of playing with fire. I know your new country is very young, but rest assured that I would do nothing to jeopardize what we have built together. I look forward to seeing you soon. Your friend, William.
Так, подожди. Где тут еще есть какая-то комнатка?
Portrait of George Washington.
Молодого. Угу. Ну, пойдем поболтаем с ним.
Greetings, Louis.
Mr. President, you can guess why I'm here.
Of course.
Lord Mortimer has sent me to ask you a few questions about last night.
It's... How am I going to tell Elizabeth's father that she's dead?
I know, Mr. President. I shall endeavor to find out the truth about this tragedy. I must ask you to help me, though. Please.
Find the degenerate pig who did this, Louis.
В процессе.
Tell me, Mr. President, had you spoken to Elizabeth since your arrival? You know her father. You thought she was dead.
No, I didn't. And I believe I'll be taking my remorse with me to my grave. I wanted to, but I didn't know where to begin.
You can't blame yourself. You couldn't have known that her days were numbered. Are you all right, Mr. President? Are you feeling all right?
Oh, don't worry. It's this rotten toothache. What do you expect? I'm no spring chicken now.
Да, то, что зуб болит, это, конечно... Да.
I'm talking to all the
Признак
guests to
старья.
find out who has an alibi and, well, who doesn't, Mr. President. Can you tell me what you were doing last night so that I can strike your name off the list?
I spent the night right here, reading.
All night?
Exactly. Emily stopped by in the middle of the night. You can ask her. She wanted to talk about some business we have in common.
Anything whatsoever to do with Elizabeth?
Not at all, Louis. A business matter.
Do you know if she had any enemies, Mr. President?
Not that I know of. I heard about her altercation with Mr. Perry, but that case was closed, if I'm not mistaken. But if in doubt, I wouldn't leave any door unopened, and I'd go and question your fellow countrymen.
Don't worry. Countryman or not, I'm not letting anybody slip through the cracks. Do you know why she came to the island?
To get help, if I'm not mistaken. Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her.
Yes, Lord Mortimer has a talent for healing, apparently. I'm not surprised Sir Gregory advised her to come.
Agreed. Do you know why she came to the island?
To get help, if I'm not mistaken.
Блин.
Isn't that right?
Indeed. Sir Gregory suggested to her father that he introduce her to Lord Mortimer to see if he could help her.
Yes, Lord Mortimer has a talent for healing, apparently. I'm not surprised Sir Gregory advised her to come.
Agreed.
Так, ну все.
I shan't keep you any longer, Mr. President.
Feel free, Louis. If there's anything I can do, just ask.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Мистер Президент. Че стоишь? Че смотришь?
Good day, Monsieur de Richet.
Mr. Volner, are you looking for anything in particular? Next to Elizabeth's room?
No, nothing special.
Lord Mortimer must have informed you of the necessity for everyone to remain in their rooms until further notice.
Certainly, but I'm a guest, not a prisoner. I was looking for a servant, since we don't all, unfortunately, have one at our disposal.
Yeah, right.
I shall leave you now, sir. I will return to my room.
Значит, мы тебя найдем в твоей комнате. Бардак опять. Ну, тут были уже. И тут жизнь какая-то творилась. А, даже тело здесь. Ключа у меня по-прежнему нет.
A chest with a half-circle pattern.
Нет. Сейчас тут начнем лазить и следы свои оставим, скажут, мы это все доделали.
The blade is short and thin, well sharpened, apparently. It's covered in blood. Still fresh. The lower part of the handle is unsullied by blood. The murderer gripped the weapon so tight that there's no blood where he held it. The handprint indicates a small and slender hand.
Девушка? Карлик? Девушка-карлик? Так на меня смотрит. Ну, давай по порядку.
There are numerous marks on the body. She must have fought like a lion. It couldn't have happened without a lot of noise. There are also a number of old scars. Scarring, ugh. Scarring isn't very regular, but they're mostly from old cuts. People who scar themselves in this way generally do so to relieve some kind of psychological suffering. By trying to master the pain, they establish their self-control. Ancient Greek. Let's see what it means. These are sacred chants intended to protect their bearer. But from whom? Or from what? No wounds, but blood on the right hand. Nothing on the left except that tattooed symbol. I count no fewer than 9 wounds on the thorax, with a lot of blood. At first sight, I'd say that's what caused her death. Some of these tattoos are veritable works of... What's that? The skin between her breasts is different. Bloody hell! This tattoo was drawn on a page of leather and stitched onto her skin. Probably during childhood. If the scars are anything to go by. It's the same kind of tattoo as on the rest of her body.
Все связано с оккультизмом, естественно.
I see no sign of bruising on the skull. The only clue is a scar from a previous craniectomy. Poor Elizabeth, she must have been very young when she went through all that. That's torture. She also has old scars around the neck, maybe mutilations. She bled from the nose. What a strange smell.
Ничего не можем, блин.
Blood, but no trace of blows on the legs. More tattoos, similar to those on the rest of her body.
Что-то мы еще найдем, чего можно хлебнуть.
Has Sir finished with this room?
No, I haven't gone over everything yet.
Sir may take his time. When Sir would like to leave, Sir has only to tell me.
Откуда ты взялся тут вообще? Или ты тут был?
My dear Elizabeth, I'm writing.
Мы это читали. Так, а вот это мы не видели. Оно упало. Согнулось.
Clock stopped at 3:54. If it was smashed during the murder, then I've just established the time of the crime.
Жопой задели. Как я в Dishonored. Задеваю всю задницу, хожу.
Vials of laudanum. The label shows that this laudanum comes straight from America. I wonder if Washington's involved.
Дядь-то хороший, но Вашингтон что, все-таки причастен? Не хотелось бы.
Pentagram? What the hell's been going on here? Many esoteric rituals are based on this shape. Could Elizabeth have been sacrificed during an occult ritual? A notebook, written in Elizabeth's handwriting. It is written in a mix of several languages. Not too easy to work out. August 24th, 1792. Elizabeth, I'm driven to despair and doubt there is any point in writing to you. I'm not even sure you'll receive.
Мы это читали. Пушка.
A pistol? Fairly new, I'd say. And judging by the weight of it, fairly light. A tribute engraved on the barrel. To the liberators of France. There's a few dried traces of blood on the grip. Difficult to know for sure how they got there. It's extremely well maintained. The barrel is perfectly clean. It isn't loaded, and there's no traces of gunshot residue. I'd conclude that it hasn't been used recently. Right. I shall have to find its owner. Piece of fabric. High quality at that. I'd say it's silk. Going by the texture and the gray hue, it must come from a dress, that kind that women of quality wear.
А прикиньте, эта мать у нашу пришибла ее. Она же жаловалась, что ее мать-то лупила там что-то. И вообще наша матушка демон. А, мы это изучали уже.
Blood spatter indicates that the murder must have held Elizabeth upright during the attack. Even if Elizabeth wasn't very big, I
Kiss.
doubt she wouldn't have put up a struggle. It takes tremendous strength to overpower someone like that. Knocked over a bottle of wine.
Занюхни.
What kind of plonk is that? Hey, it's a Bordeaux. That's a Chateau de Briand. It's a great wine. I don't know what's happened to this wine, but it's undrinkable.
Да вот.
Poor girl bled to death.
Аня.
Whoever left that footprint has boats for feet. That's at least a size 15. Where's a size like that here? Peru?
Это, может, специально одели.
Washington, maybe.
В смысле? Что все на Вашингтон отдавали? Я не считаю, что это Вашингтон. Так, ну вроде как все. Да?
Has Sir finished with this
I know
room?
enough now. Thank you.
Very well, sir. Sir may return whenever need be. I shall guard the door.
Так, теперь нам еще осталось сходить в комнату к тому чуваку подозрительному. Где она его? Комната? Так, кто здесь у нас?
Monsieur Johann van Volner.
Во.
The alchemist is a young man. The signs of the zodiac. A chest locked with a 4-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
Начинается.
The Sorrows of Young Werther. There's a handwritten text signed by von Werner on this first page. Dear Elizabeth, I know that this book is but a small token compared to the delightful moments you gave me, but I hope that this will nonetheless keep the memory alive. Your ever-obedient servant. So, Volner had a relationship with Elizabeth. But that's hardly surprising given his fondness for the occult.
Дед.
A table of alchemical symbols. Someone circled the zinc symbol.
Дед-то, оказывается, тусил стоит, татушечный.
The signs of obscurantism.
В то же время у него здесь все не мрачное.
Hey, a Russian ruble.
О!
I wonder what it'd be worth today.
Чел. Эх. Так, посмотрели. Что-то показалось, тут что-то сверкало, нет? Внизу. Сейчас он нам расскажет, как он там тусил с малолеткой.
A fragment of amber.
The alchemist is an old man.
А у нас-то в это время сейчас, как у них, правит-то кто? Не Петр Первый. Какой год-то, я уж не помню тут. Да и корцы использовать. Так, ну, видимо, нам придется с тобой болтать.
What can I do for you, de Richet?
Monsieur, Lord Mortimer has appointed me to investigate the tragedy that befell us last night.
Oh, yes. It's horrible. Yes. How can I help, monsieur?
Where were you last night?
In my room. I read a few ancient manuscripts before going to bed. But I didn't stay up long. I was tired.
Thank you kindly. Excuse me for asking, but did you know Miss Adams?
Oh, she... not really, to tell the truth. No.
I found the Werther dedication, signed by your hand, monsieur. Would you like to change your version now?
Be careful, de Richet. Don't push your luck. My relationship with Miss Adams was pure, and has nothing to do with you. Well, continue playing the detective as you see fit. But if I find the bastard who did that to Elizabeth, I will...
Yes! I would have preferred a simple response, but I see I have my answer now.
Расстались, какие отношения были между вами? Вы любили ее?
Please, tell me a little more about the nature of your relationship.
That is a personal matter, monsieur.
Yes, that is true. So, tell me.
All right. It was passion. That's why we couldn't stay together.
А да, какой же ты противоречивый хер.
You loved her, didn't you?
That is none of your damn business.
Your feelings betray you, sir.
So what? Yes. I loved her, like a moth loves the flame of a candle. That's why we could never be together.
Дед, походу, как и я, шрамы любит.
Excuse me for asking, but did you know Miss Adams?
Oh, she... not really, to tell
Да, блядь. Куда я нажал? Что, выбирал, что ли?
I found the Werther dedication, signed by your hand.
Почему нельзя отменить-то?
Would you like to change your
Почему
version now?
повторяется
Be careful, de Richet. Don't push your luck. My relationship with Miss Adams was pure, and has nothing to do with you. Well, continue playing the detective as you see fit. But if I find the bastard who did that to Elizabeth,
Да понятно, блядь.
Yes! I would have preferred a simple response, but I see I have my answer now.
Давай, да, проперделся, молодец. Значит, что он делал ночью?
Where were you last night?
In my room.
Вы тоже спрашивали, блядь, что ли? Я уже не помню ничего.
Before going to bed, but I didn't stay up long. I was tired.
Thank you kindly.
Блядь.
Did you see how many tattoos Miss Adams had on her?
Of course. Who wouldn't have noticed?
Yes, but I'm sure that an expert like yourself must have an opinion on the subject.
I do. She was seeking to imprison something inside her. Her own body had become a sort of prison.
She wanted to protect herself. Is that what you're saying?
Elizabeth was a flame. A candle in the night. And like all candles in the night, she was surrounded by darkness, by her demons. Call it what you will. One thing is for sure. She struggled against hell and high water not to let her flame go out.
We finished. I'll have a look around and then take my leave.
Do whatever you have to do.
Че, еще что ли здесь что-то есть? Вроде все осмотрели. Ну вот это только...
A chest locked with a 4-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
Не знаю тогда.
A chest locked with a four-letter code. Surely a word close to the owner's heart.
Тоже не знаю тогда. Подожди. Вторая. А, все, поменял. Блядь, долго меняешь. Может, рано? Не хуйня.
Golden elixir.
Блять, и хочется поразгадывать, писать, но это так нудно, так долго, блядь. Шо пизда. Я про буквы, про эти все. Так, па-па-па. Нас туда не выпустят. Сюда не впустят. Давай попробуем с ним поговорить.
I've come to speak about the findings of the investigation, my lord.
Какие-то новые варианты появятся.
I'm listening, Louis.
Will you remind me of the facts we already know about?
Elizabeth Adams was killed last night, but Piaggi was with Holm and I until late at night. As for Bonaparte and Washington, they left us after midnight, both tired.
I believe I've identified the murderer.
Really, Louis? All right then. Please think carefully before you give me your answer. This is a very, very serious accusation.
А у кого там маленькие ручки? Из мужчин ни у кого же вроде нету. Моя мать. Эмили. Сама Элизабет.
I believe it was suicide.
Suicide? Louis, I hope you have solid evidence.
The knife found beside Elizabeth's body had a handprint on it, a slender hand. Without a doubt, the hand of a woman.
And Elizabeth is the only female guest? Come, Louis. Anything else?
She was covered in scars from previous acts of scarification. That proves that she was prone to harming herself. Her suicide was the culmination of this.
What you say makes sense, but it's a little weak. Haven't you anything else?
It is my conviction that she killed herself.
So she stabbed herself 9 times?
Да.
Really? That's very hard to believe, Louis. Louis, I'm afraid this is simply not sufficient. This is a serious accusation. I need concrete evidence. That is why I am taking over this case as of now. Right. It's time we spoke about your mother.
Блядь, ну я не хотела, это как бы очевидно, что...
When I first came here, I wasn't that worried. In the past, my mother has taken a few liberties during her missions, including disappearing
Не
for
хотелось
7
бы, но
days on
походу
end.
это реально мамка наш.
That doesn't make me feel any better, Louis.
What was the official reason why my mother came to your island?
I knew about your mother's activities and yours in the Golden Order. I thought we had everything to gain by working together.
You mean the canon deal with Monsieur Bonaparte?
Among others, yes. How did you hear about that?
Monsieur Bonaparte came to speak to me about it yesterday, during lunch.
I see. So impetuous. He was supposed to let me speak to you about it first. Our friend Napoleon desperately needed financial backing to properly equip his army. I took it upon myself to back him because I have a firm conviction that he can go far.
We shall see. However, there's one thing that surprises me. Isn't Bonaparte a bit young to deserve so much attention?
Well, you come straight to the point. I like that. Indeed, if you knew just how much you remind me of him. Trust me, I'll wager that Monsieur Napoleon will soon prove himself. I'm working on it, at least.
No.
Once this deal was closed, I had big plans for Sarah.
Such as what?
You see, I've invited several influential figures on my island to present them with a project at the conference. It will be presented later today. I thought that the Golden Order had a role to play. And I still think so. I was hoping Sarah would be able to join us.
I see.
Indeed, if by chance your mother decided not to return to us before the conference, would you do me the great honor of attending? If only to follow the deliberations while waiting for her to duly take her seat.
Why not? We shall see.
Ah, thank you so much. In this way, you'll be able to keep your mother informed of what he said. There's something else I'd like to briefly go over. Earlier, you asked me the official reason for your mother's presence here. Is there an off-the-record reason why your mother came here?
If only my mother trusted me, but she remained very mysterious. I'd have been delighted to answer your question.
Is this usual for her?
As head of the Order, secrets are her bread and butter, as you can imagine. That said, it's the first time she hasn't let me in on the reason for her trip. And it intrigues me, to tell you the truth.
Well, I'm sure that Sarah will explain everything once she reappears. There's something I still don't get. In your opinion, why would your mother remain in hiding over several weeks?
Вовремя, блядь, пока зевала. Так, избегая встречи с кем-то, она что-то обнаружила, она сошла с ума.
Her not coming back to the manor after so long makes me wonder if she is wary of someone.
Well, certainly. But whom? The only ones who were present during her stay were Sir Gregory, Duchess Hillsborough, Mr. von Boulder, and myself.
Тебя, значит. Грегори Холм, это кто? Я не помню уже. С другой стороны, мисс Адамс была в наших воспоминаниях, но она не избегала, она ее захуярила, застрелила. Прям герцогиня Хиллсбро.
My lord, I'm obliged to ask this question, but please don't take offense to it.
Ah, you wondered if Sarah was wary of me.
Я не было, хер знает сколько.
It just so happens that I've been asking myself the very same question. Because I can't explain why Sarah didn't come to see me, knowing how influential I am. But to your point, I can't imagine she would be. Although I am obviously not the best person to answer that question.
Thank you. I had to ask.
The only thing I can tell you is that Sarah had indeed changed. At the beginning of her stay here, we enjoyed spending time together, solving the world's problems.
You seem to know my mother very well, my lord. What did you talk about together?
Oh, as soon as we had a little free time, we liked to share points of view about practically any subject. We would find ourselves embarked on interminable discussions that could go from Monsieur Blanchard's flight in a hot air balloon to the Treaty of Jersey, or the adoption of the metric system in France last year, or even Mr. Eli Whitney's invention in the United States.
The armistice between the Russians and the Turks. Russia's come out of it having officially won Crimea, which gives it direct access to the Black Sea.
And at the same time, the Mediterranean Sea. I'm worried about the decisions Tsarina Catherine might decide to take. She's a woman who managed to get rid of her husband to accede to the upper reaches of power. Gaining access to the Mediterranean Sea remains her main objective. When she still had that dear Potemkin as her lover, I could always find out about her intentions, but those days are over.
You're speaking of Grigory Alexandrovich Potemkin?
The very man. The little devil behind the mother of all Russians. Since his death, I know absolutely nothing of what the Tsarina is up to.
Oh, really?
Ah, yes. I didn't mean to shock you. Please forgive me. Let's just say that, in my position, it is often advantageous to know about the habits and customs of world leaders.
I'm surprised she didn't get you started on the Crusades. It was her favorite subject.
Are you joking? Sarah and I spent entire days together reliving them. It so happens that the Crusades are also my subject of predilection, especially the Third. My ancestor distinguished himself brilliantly during the siege of Saint-Jean d'Acre.
Unfortunately, my lord, the Crusades are not my chosen field.
Well, it doesn't matter. You have plenty of time to learn. Your mother is a very well-read woman. You're quite lucky to have her as a model.
Возраста и не знаешь про крестовые походы.
I'm still very worried.
Лалка.
I must admit, there are worse things to worry about now, Louis.
What do you mean?
Since she disappeared, your mother has been seen once. Her behavior on the evening of your arrival greatly surprised Gregory and myself. She resurfaced to attack Emma, Emily Hillsborough's twin sister. And she shot her with a pistol. Then, before Gregory could intervene, she ran off and disappeared again.
I beg your pardon? Hang on.
Emily has a twin sister who knew my mother? What's she playing at, goddammit? That means my vision on the wharf, it was actually happening inside the man.
Она захуярила близнеца, походу.
Sister?
Да.
The person she came looking for? Why would she do that?
Excuse me.
А никого не смущает, что мать-то без руки?
The childhood of Lady Adams, it's all a bit much for me to cope with. I need to piece it all together again to see things more clearly. You said that you spent a lot of time talking together at the beginning. What happened for that to change?
I'm afraid I haven't much to tell you. The more the days went by, the more she withdrew into herself. She never gave me an explanation. Until the day came when she purely and simply disappeared.
Where did she go when she wanted to be alone?
She would shut herself away in a room we use as a box room upstairs.
Would you allow me to go there?
Naturally, Louis, of course. I'll send you a servant to open it.
Thank you.
That's all I can tell you about the disappearance of your mother, Louis. I would like to have been more helpful.
I shall stay on her trail and follow up any leads.
Thank you. We will meet later on to welcome our last guest. In the meantime, I shall get someone to open the box room upstairs for you.
Thank you.
Oh.
The room was just opposite Mortimer's study.
Нужно сейчас доиграть хотя бы главу, и я пойду. Так, это внизу он сказал, да? Ну, камон. Блять, это внизу, но вы туда не попадете, блять, потому что вы хуй. Куда мне идти-то? Ну, еще просто тупо круг. Бегу. Не выпускают, блядь. Найдите, что, я не вижу, за... блядь. Найдите башенную комнату. И где она? А где-то наверх еще была лестница. Куда она делась? Вот. Блин, вы что, гоните?
St. Paul on the road to Damascus by Caravaggio. Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal, the curtains of his illusions being raised, and receives the light from his Savior.
Мы тут что, попали в ту самую, что ли, башенную комнату? Да. Походу.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, for what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
There are burnt papers in the chimney. There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting. She says we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is on to us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So Mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there.
Ух уж эти загадки, реально. Стоп.
A pound.
Херушки.
The door appears to be locked on the other side. I think I heard something fall to the ground. A metallic sound, like a key falling to the floor.
Почему? Почему я не могу?
What is this disc?
Магнитит. Магнитит. Не магнетит. Ну, вот как бы, наверное...
St. Paul on the road to Damascus.
Ничего мы здесь не можем сделать, да?
Caravaggio.
По-прежнему.
Caravaggio attained a magnificent command of black and the play of colors too. Paul facing an ordeal.
Опять.
The curtains of his illusions being raised and receives the light from his Savior.
Да.
Dante's Paradise.
Raise your head and be reassured, For what comes up here from the mortal world must ripen in our rays.
There are burnt papers in the chimney.
Блять, я не могу отсюда выйти, и я не могу туда зайти. И что мне делать теперь?
There's a legible fragment left. Hey, I recognize my mother's handwriting.
Блять.
She says we must find a safer way to communicate. Someone is onto us. Trust in my faith in the man with the sword. So mother had an accomplice here. Who could it be? Who could she be suspicious of? I must find the next part. Faith, sword. I recognize her love of riddles there. We'll see if it works.
Прикольно.
It's open.
Но оно было закрыто снаружи. Точнее, изнутри.
St. Paul is shown holding a sword. Strange. There's hardly any dust, as if the painting's been cleaned recently. There's a small inscription engraved on the frame. Let's take a closer look. This is how Paul spoke to his pilgrims from Rome. Just above that, someone's written down the figure 11 on the painting and underlined it twice. No, what does that mean? Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni. Painting of St. Mark from the collection of the Apostles by Guido Reni.
Да-да-да, понятно.
Amber crystals. Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. It looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Выбирал не детектива, а все равно детектив. Смысл? Ну давай.
It's St. John, painted by Guido Reni. The New Testament.
Детектив, что ли?
And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in Hebrew Golgotha.
Точно ту суку я, вы чё? Какой в этом смысл?
Now, therefore, there is utterly a fault among you, because ye go to law with one another. Why do ye not rather suffer injustice? Why do ye not rather suffer yourselves to be defrauded? Ah, look, here's a message. It is of paramount importance that no one finds it. Watch out for the Prussian. He's on the trail. Let's meet up. I'll leave it to you to organize the rendezvous. Not today. I'm unable to do it. In the meantime, I'll follow the first group to Mark, who will reveal the answer to them.
То есть это все-таки нужно реально все исследовать, раз он находит там в них что-то.
If we have hope in Christ in this life only, we are, of all men, most miserable. For you are bought with a price. Therefore, glorify God in your body and in your spirit, which are God's.
Ага, понятно. То есть все-таки в одной из вот этих... Если уже в какой-то мы на какой-то наткнулись, остальные читать не имеет смысла, правильно?
But though we, or an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed.
Я чуть не понял, они что, одинаковые, что ли? Вроде нет.
There is none that understandeth. There is none that seeketh after God. We know that the law is spiritual, but I am carnal, sold under sin.
Или все-таки это вот так вот?
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
Это ж охренеть, вот это все сейчас.
The drawing of the Apostle Matthew, painted by Guido Reni. He's represented as writing the word of the Lord, transmitted by the Holy Spirit,
мы не закончим,
who appears here in the guise of an angel.
Меня рубит.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
Я не оккультист. Короче, надо переметнуть сейчас мне. Я ничего не вижу, блин. Блять, я ж переместила, алло. Во. Чтобы заглянуть в свои заметки, нажмите. Она пишет, нужно найти более безопасный способ общаться. Кто-то напал на наш след. Так это мы все это он проговорил. Следуйте указаниям, оставленным в Библии. Блять. Нельзя, чтобы кто-то нашел нашу переписку. Остерегайтесь прусака. Я даже не знаю, что это. Он уже на хвосте. Давайте встретимся. Выбирайте место и время, но только не сегодня. Я не смогу прийти. Я последую за первой группой к Марку, который даст долгожданный ответ. И что это значит? Я не понимаю. Мне мозг отказывается думать сейчас. Так, нас отсюда не выпускают. Значит, все-таки мы что-то здесь должны делать. Походу листать Библию, потому что ну, тут без вариантов.
Several portraits of apostles, all signed by Guido Reni. Looks like someone touched this commode recently. There are fingerprints on the sheets and in the dust.
Душно. Это ж охереть сейчас листать это все. Тем более он еще сбрасывает их, выходит, ой, блядь.
I guess I'll just come back later.
Блядь. Не видно, что написано.
A volume of the Gutenberg Bible. Honor thy father and thy mother, as this is the first commandment. In him God has chosen us before the foundation of the world, that we may be holy and blameless before him.
Это еще нуднее, чем та расстановка, блядь, этих горгуль, блядь, медуз, короче, этих.
And so many came and couldn't find the body of the Lord Jesus.
Почему ты сбрасываешь их? Почему я должна их? Это геймплей.
But Jesus turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, "Daughter, be of good comfort. Thy faith
Короче, мы
hath
тут
made thee
закончим,
whole."
потому что
And the
это
woman was made whole from that hour.
невыносимая срань. И определенно тут, скорее всего, реально с этой Библией что-то связано, нужно ее задрачивать. Это я буду, если и буду делать, то параллельно чем-то занимаюсь, потому что, ну, это вообще это не вариант. Он не выходит отсюда, значит, тут нужно что-то реально сделать. А здесь больше ничего же нельзя сделать, кроме как вот с этой Библией таскаться. Мы уже тут все смотрели, читали. Диск тут нашли. Все у нас по максимуму. Тем более, блин, у меня еще что-то в сон тут тянет, скорее всего, от самой игры. Это ее невыносимой динамичности. Но картины, все мы осмотрели. Ну реально, кроме этой книги ничего не остается.
A chest with the occult symbol representing air.
По-прежнему нельзя. Подожди, а там что, может, еще что-то можно было? Не, ничего нельзя тут. Никаких шкатулок нету? Не, нету. Только замок был. Окей. Да, короче, мы тут закончим. Пойду я отдыхать, потому что я вообще буквально, наверное, сейчас лягу и усну к херам, потому что это реально, это очень душная страна. Сохранить и выйти, да. Где моя матушка? Куда ты меня возвращаешь? Господи, дай мне уйти. Ладно, да, всем спасибо, кто это вытерпел. Ой, не знаю, что-то какая-то душноватая игра становится. Так вроде бы интересно местами прям, ну вот эти вот какие-то головоломки, блядь, вот с этими... Я понимаю, что это типа неотъемлемая часть таких игр. Но, блин, оно так душит, я из этого, блин, спать еще и хочу. Короче, все, пойду. Ну его нафиг. Дай уйти-то, алло. Во.